This short video clip is titled "The Rise of the Elites. Humanist Ideals Will Fail and People Will Be Crushed." Francis Schaeffer says humanism is man demanding to begin autonomously from himself and turning away completely from anything that God might have to say. Here it is in his own words.
The weak humanistic ideals have not been able to provide a base which is needed. Let us remember what humanism is. It's man demanding to begin autonomously from himself and turning away completely from anything God might have to say. And this kind of humanism, this humanism, was not able to provide in the past and the present, nor will it in the future, a support strong enough for society that will still give us freedoms. It's not able to. Do you remember in the first episode, the little Roman bridge? And as I stood there on that Roman bridge, I pointed out that these little humpbacked Roman bridges over many of the rivers of Europe have stood safely for 2 millennia as horses, mules, cows, wagons, people went over them. But if you drove a modern truck over them, the bridge would break. Now that's exactly where the humanist ideals take us. As long as the pressures are not there, it may seem to be really saying something and saying something rather nice. But as the pressures increase, that's a very different situation. And don't forget the pressures are increasing. I can name just a certain number of them. You might think of more. But the ones I'm going to mention are not something for the future. They're already upon us. And these pressures are building up month after month, year after year. The first is the dilemma of economic breakdown, centered in what seems to be the impossibility to control inflation. And economists everywhere are writing on the fact that we haven't found a solution to the control of inflation. And if it continues, it will lead in country after country to economic breakdown. We can think of political terrorism and indiscriminate terrorism as it is spread over the world. This brings a tremendous pressure on people, just a tremendous pressure. And perhaps the greatest of all, the threat of war with the imperialistic, expansionist, communist countries toward the West. And add to this the fear of atomic war. Just a tremendous pressure to give up anything, to give up absolutely anything, if we could just save our peace and affluency. And then there is the shortage of food in the world and other natural resources. And this brings with it the fact that there almost certainly is going to be a redistribution of wealth in the world and a redistribution of power. And this is a tremendous pressure. And any of these pressures, as they're growing, and as they will certainly continue to grow, people with merely the values of personal peace and affluency would give up anything in the light of these pressures. Especially if in the days of our own day, as in the days of Augustus back in the Roman Empire, the things were brought in, the changes were brought in while seeming to keep the outward forms of constitutionality. And with the growth of these pressures, modern man with his apathy and with his desire for personal peace will crush, just like that little Roman bridge would crush under the weight of a 10-ton truck. It's just where we are.
Here's a conclusion. This kind of humanism in the past, present, and future has not and will not provide a structure sound enough to support society that will still give us freedoms. The changes were brought in while seeming to maintain the outward forms of constitutionality. With the growth of societal pressures and humanism being the value structure, modern man with his apathy and his desire for personal peace and affluence will be crushed. What do you think about this? Do you believe the things described in this clip are coming true or are true already? Why or why not? This is U.S. Civics Training. Thanks for listening.